Hey guys, I think this time of year people are starting to look at their 2019 habits they want to form. I don't want to say resolutions or whatever, but getting more and more people asking me like what meditation practice I do personally. And oftentimes I think they're surprised because they say I don't like to meditate. Like I don't find meditation effective for me. And so let me clarify that, where they're asking what meditation practice to do, and I'll ask them like, why do you want to meditate? And for most is saying, well, I want to reduce my stress. And then again, the next question is like, well, what are you trying to reduce your stress from? And then they usually tell me some scenario. And what it ends up coming down to is that they're worried about something. And what worry really is just a subset of fear. And so using meditation to escape fear is going to be, I don't know, I mean, it's going to be better than alcohol or drugs, but it's still an escape. You're trying to escape the issue opposed to actually address the issue and have it head on. And so what I'll do is I'll walk the person through kind of what I use to escape worry, to escape fear, and not even escape it, to tackle it. And I think one cool thing we have here in the Front Range in Colorado is we have bison, and they're one of the only animal I know of anyway, that when a storm comes over these mountains and we have some brutal hail and snow and rain and wind, they actually face towards the storm. And so they turn and face towards the storm knowing, hey, if I run towards it, I'll get through it quicker. Where other herd animals, what they're going to do is they're going to turn away from the storm, run away from it, thinking they're going to outrun it, but that never happens. They're actually in the storm way longer. So you can try to run away from your problems, or with this kind of circumstance where I think people use meditation more is like the ostrich, where they just stick their head in the sand and hopefully that everything else around them just kind of goes away and they don't hear it. They're not affected by it for that time being, but once they bring their head up out of the sand, guess what? The problem's still there. So I kind of use, I don't know, this bison approach. So grab the bison by the biscuits. We'll just call it that. And so if I'm worried about something, what I'll do is kind of recognize that worry is creating uncertainty. Like I don't know what the outcome's going to be, and so that's going to create this tension in my life. And so instead of trying to, like, I don't know, not guess, but I guess lack of a better term, try to worry about what's going to happen, I want to create experience, because when we have experience, then we start to worry less. Like remember the first time you ever drove a car and you had to get on the highway at 75 miles an hour, that's like nerve-wracking. But as you gained experience with it, now you're riding at 90 miles an hour in someone's bumper while texting and flipping the stage. Like, so that experience creates confidence. So that's what I do, is try to create this internal confidence based on scenarios, and I play the worst case scenario game. So if I'm worried about something, I get to a point of like, okay, what would be the worst thing that could happen? And for example, that would be like, I lose my wife and kids. Like they just spontaneously combust and I never see them again. And while that could be possible, like say I go out to do a talk, what I'm worried about, and they go in the car into the store and they all get T-boned and destroyed, like there's a possibility of that. The actual probability of that is negligent. Like it's rarely ever going to happen. And so then I keep moving on to like different scenarios, like, oh, I could lose my hands. I could lose lose the office, lose my money, like whatever it is, until I get to one that's like, okay, yes, this is possible, but actually, no, this is probable too. And if this has a high probability of happening, how would I react if it did? Like, what would my plan B be? And so I kind of go through this bison of facing the storm of worst case scenario and just keep listing them until something's actually like, oh, that could happen. Like I could say something stupid at a talk. Nobody could show up, but am I going to die from that? Am I going to lose my family because of that? No, not at all. And so if that happens, great. I create an action plan to counter that potential, that potential thing. Like, let's say the government says there's no more functional medicine you're not allowed to practice anymore. Well, what would I do? Like, I don't know, I'd go work at Costco or something. I'd go clean pools. Like, as much as that would suck, I wouldn't dwell on the potential for that to happen. I would create a backup plan in case it does. And then work kind of through the details in my head or on paper and create this confidence in it. But the third step that I think everyone forgets to do is like, what would the best case scenario be? So let's say you're worried about this decision and here's the potential things that could go wrong, but what's the thing, like this amazing thing that could happen if it does go right? Or if it does go totally wrong, how could you pull yourself out of that and be a better version of yourself? Like, I look at the people I'm inspired by and I want to be like, it's not ones that were handed everything in life. They had tough times, they had hard circumstances, but they pulled themselves out of it. They got over the worry, they got over the fear, and they put that into action. And so if you're looking to meditate just for escape purposes, I would say it's probably not the reason meditation was developed. Instead, I say grab the bison by the biscuits, run towards the storm, and kind of go through this scenario of worst case scenario, possibility, probability, action plan, but then don't forget the best case scenario. So hope this helps a little bit. I know it's easier than done to not to worry. Like, I hear people get told like, oh, just don't stress about it. Well, that's ridiculous. But here's how you don't stress about it is you actually attack the problem opposed to sitting around and hoping nothing of that occurs. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.